What do you do when you go through a massively transformative experience? You come home and you're ready to tell everybody you know about why they should go do it. Well, I'm going to share why that doesn't work and how to go through that gracefully. This is your invitation to become the alchemist of your life. You decode your heaven on earth and go through the alchemical process. The alchemist is a master of himself so that he can master life. People thought alchemists were turning lead into gold, but they're really crystallizing their soul into form. Alchemize your golden potential. Welcome to the Golden Life. Welcome to the Golden Life. My name is David Gilbert. I'm here to help you become the alchemist of your life so you can create a life overflowing with inner and outer gold. And if you are committed to becoming the alchemist, well, you are looking for experiences of transformation. And today I'm going to share a lot of my own experience, especially when you go through a massively transformative experience and you are so excited, so thrilled, you are ready to tell everybody about it. But in this episode, I'm going to share why that doesn't work as good as you think it's going to work. And then why you might get met with, what are you talking about? David, you're crazy. And you just get totally rejected and you have no idea why. So, being somebody that loves to explore some of the most powerful tools of transformation, this is almost part of the process. We go through this thing, it helps us immensely. We feel full of love, or we feel powerful, or we just created that transformation or inspiration we've been looking for, and we're like, all right, wife, all right, friends, all right, coworkers, all right, everybody in my community, I am going to tell you why you need to go do this thing. Which even there, watch the power of words, right? Does anybody need to do anything? No. As myself, I like to use the word I choose to, right? I like to empower myself. So even when it comes to after you go through that transformative experience, maybe you are guilty of this yourselves. We're all kind of guilty of this. We kind of go through this process where you go through this really transformative thing, and it's either you want to tell everybody about it, or you're like, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to give up my life and go do this thing. Maybe not to that extremes, but that's another route that can happen after really transformative experiences. And what happens when we do that? We go back home, like I just got back from this one event. You go back home, you tell everybody, and maybe you have a wife or a husband and they're one of the first ones, and you just show up on the phone. Maybe you're still at the event and you're like, you need to do this. And they're like, what? What are you doing? What are you talking about? Or maybe they know what you're doing, but you're like, what? Like, what are you saying about me? Is something wrong with me? Am I broken? Am I wrong? Like, what is this you're really saying about me? You're saying I need help? Who says I need help? So even that, forcing that need upon somebody is gonna create resistance, pushing. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. Like, how can you go through this process of transformation and be way more graceful? Because I can give countless examples. We go through these things, we're so fired up because we made it through the messiness of transformation. We got uncomfortable and we got to the other side, and we're excited and thrilled about how we showed up and what we're feeling now of what's possible. And then we go back home where people still have this old view of you, because we tend to want to live in a way that makes everybody feel static. But the truth is, you are dynamic. Everybody is dynamic all the time. But if you're in something like, if you have a household full of people, maybe it's your partner or somebody else, how do we typically look at them? The same, almost every day. But the truth is, every single day, somebody is a little bit different, right? You could have one insight that massively transformed your life. Maybe you got one in this podcast, and you are no longer the same person. Yet on the outside, somebody is going to see you of what they saw you 5 years ago as. So to acknowledge that in the first place, that if you come home saying, I am this changed person, I'm going to keep my promises every time I make one, and I am going to love you like I always meant to love you this whole time. Now, if you do that, your wife or husband will be like, what? Okay. Like, this is cute, but I know the real you, because that wasn't you a couple days ago or even a week ago or for all this evidence of years or decades of time, and you're trying to tell me now you're changed over life or changed overnight? Like, come on. So part of the process is to create space for grace. When you come home from this transformative experience, you are going to have to showcase, not by your words, but by your actions, how you transformed. We get so excited, we want to use our words, but it's really your actions that will show you what you've become. So this is where just having that one quick conversation, oh, I'm like this now, like especially if you have a committed partner who's been with you for some time, or some other family members, or maybe parents, they're gonna be like, yeah, okay, like you've been this other way your whole life. Like, what makes today the day that you fully transformed, right? We're just naturally hesitant. So if you're coming from that space and sharing that with that excitement, they're gonna, first of all, gonna be hesitant in anything that you say that they need to do, because they don't know if you're fully transformed yet. Yet this is what I've been guilty of this myself in the past. Now, how else can we go through the process? If we know we went through something that will absolutely help a loved one, like, how do you actually help influence them to go do the thing that you know, like deep down in your heart, will help them bring more joy, more love, more happiness, transform their life for the better? Well, I have 3 different insights to share, realizations. Number 1 is the invitation versus persuasion. Right? We go through this experience, we want to come home, we want to persuade our loved ones or whoever it is, coworkers, friends, like, you need to go do this thing because. And like, it was so transformative for me, and I know exactly what you need because I know you on the deepest levels. No, you don't. So being able to remove this idea of I need to influence others to change, first of all, shows you're not fully accepting them for who you are. And if you're not doing that, well, you probably have some level of suffering that's causing you a lot of disharmony within your own life. Because if you want true joy, peace, and freedom, well, then you just fully accept them for who they are in that moment. But that's a detour. Versus trying to persuade somebody versus inviting them. It's a lot different. You know, if you go give somebody hard feedback, direct feedback, that's not maybe what some might consider nice, and you just give that to them, you're going to get pushed back. Somebody's get defensive. It's going to feel like you're on the offense, even with persuasion, unless you're a master persuader. But even then, on some level, it's going to feel like offense and defense, right? You need to make this change because. Versus an invitation is like curiosity, like, you know, versus trying to persuade somebody, opening it up. Yeah, the invitation's there. Like, if this is something that feels like it calls to you, yeah, you could go do this. And this was helpful for me because this is the experience I got out of it. This is what it did for me. Versus we tend to just immediately, this is what it will do for you. To invite somebody is to keep it about your own experience. And then you can just open up curiosity. Like, I wonder if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, right? You could even see the difference of that versus you need to go do this. This will help you. This will change you because you're not okay as you are. I think you need to be different because I have my own limited view of how you need to show up in life. Number 2, and we touched on this, is grace over judgment. So you could see the difference. You are judging somebody if you are not fully accepting them for how they are right now. If you tell them you need to go do this because you need to change, you need to heal, you need to connect more, you need to open up to me, you need to go get your dreams, you need to not be depressed, you are judging them for where they're at. And who really loves to be judged? Like, we do it enough to ourselves. So do you think that adding on your judgment on top of your persuasion to get them to change because they're not okay as they are right now is going to make them feel better? And you can even see there, if you're not going to make them feel good, you're going to make them feel worse about themselves. And then it's like an extra jab. It's like a jab and hook to be like, you're not good as you are, and you need to go do this to be that version of yourself. Like, that hurts. So how can you invite grace? Now, this also goes for if you're in a relationship, and that could be a partner, that could be your parents, that could be your kids, a deep relationship that you have years or decades of experience and time with, and you did have a massive shift in your heart, and your heart, let's just say your heart's wide open, and you go home and you have that hard heart-to-heart conversation with that person. And you're like, I'm sorry, this is how I've shown up. I promise to love you better or show up in this way. What happens? We got vulnerable. We got uncomfortable. We like put ourselves out there fully after this. And what do we tend to do? We tend to expect they're going to receive it right away. And it's going to be beautiful. And we'll all be kumbayaing and singing loving songs and holding hands. Yet there's real potential that it won't be received the way you think it's going to be received. So that's where grace, once again, space for grace, because especially coming from those people who've spent a lot of time in your life, they need to see that your words aren't just words, but they're going to be lasting transformation, lasting actions. So they're going to be skeptical. And maybe it's something with a lot of pain that you haven't acknowledged at all, or you've been working on a little bit. Well, you have to give grace. Right? You're like planting new seeds to create new crops of opportunities for that bigger vision, but it's going to take space for grace. So come back to practicing grace over judgment, especially if you do put yourself out there fully and you don't get the reaction that you were looking for. And then number 3, embodiment versus enrollment. This is what we do, right? The whole theme of this podcast, you go through this huge transformative experience and you're like, I gotta enroll others to do this. And on some level, people are gonna feel that. Versus if you want to show up powerfully, if you want to be the true alchemist, your focus, your number one focus after the massively transformative experience is embodiment. Because if you truly embody everything that you maybe would have, hopefully you put a pause on it now, hopefully what is said transformed in you. Instead, you just came home. This is the experience I had. These are the insights I got. This is how I plan on transforming. I feel, this is why I'm proud, because I actually jumped in and went through the uncomfortableness, and now I'm going to create this new vision, and this is who I'm going to become, and I'm going to start living in commitment to being this type of way. And if you start living in that way, especially around those relationships that have known you for years or decades, once you start doing that for a month, you're like, wow, he's still different. And then it's 2 months, or let's say 3 months, right? Wow, this has been consistent. And then it's, let's say 6 months or even a year. If it's something they're really hesitant about, then they'll look at you and be like, damn, that is no longer the same person. That experience really absolutely transformed them. There must be something there. That gives me hope. And now I'm curious. And even like you could see with the time, it goes from curiosity to like, oh wow, desire. Now I want that for myself. Simply because you chose to embody it over constantly having a conversation as to why they need to do this, as to why you think they need to change. So when you can truly embody it, right? Going from, I've shared in previous episode, going from integrate all the insights and transformation, then embody it, and then crystallizing this new version of yourself. You do that, you're going to feel free. And you get to invite people into possibility versus trying to be the dictator or tyrant of how you think they need to change. And people will feel that. And when you do, you get to be like, hey, yeah, I know this awesome transformative experience that you can go do. And when you do that, I'm sure you could feel that energy shift where you just get to invite others in to your life and not be the one other person that is trying to tell them who to be or how to be or what to do. And that's what we need more of. More people that can just accept our humanity and be the leaders, the way showers of how to create more love, freedom, abundance, and possibility And that is the invitation of becoming the alchemist. How can you create that life for yourself first and foremost, because that's the only person you have control over, and then we get to invite others to join us. So thank you for joining me on this journey today. I hope you can gracefully go through the process of transformation, embody it, and then invite others to join you, as I'm inviting you to become the alchemist of your life and embody a new way of being through love, freedom, abundance, and possibility. Thank you, and stay golden.